Since 1917, the newspaper Izvestia has been published in the Soviet Union, but few Americans understand its native form. But this year, another Izvestia, a thoroughbred, has compiled a form that's easily understood, showing 8 wins in 9 starts, as well as a Canadian Triple Crown. Today, Izvestia will attempt to translate his Canadian success to American headlines in the $750,000 Jockey Club Gold Cup from New York. ESPN presents a special edition of Budweiser Racing Across America, Racing to the Breeders' Cup. Brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Thrifty Car Rental. Thrifty is a lot of car rental company for incredibly little. And by DeBartolo Racing, leading the way to the 21st century. The 72nd running of the Jockey Club Gold Cup from Belmont Park, New York, is next on ESPN. Championship Day to Breeders' Cup 7 is entering its final stages. Today, we're now just 3 weeks away, and this weekend series serves as the definitive Breeders' Cup Day preview, as the New York Racing Association presents 5 Grade 1 stakes worth more than $2.3 million. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln as we welcome you to the host site of the Breeders' Cup, to Belmont Park, New York, and to our racing doubleheader this weekend here on ESPN. A couple of headline stories first to start our race day. 2 leading Horse of the Year candidates are through for the year, including Criminal Type, the #1 ranked thoroughbred in America. He had been the favorite today in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Came back with an ankle injury after a Monday workout, has been sent back to Calumet Farm. This is Housebuster, the leader for the Sprint Championship. He had some leg cuts after running off the board in the Vosburg last week. He is through for the year. So we've lost 2 of our superstars. Now we're searching for more stars, and no better place to start than here. No bigger event than the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Here are the conditions of racing. For this, the 72nd renewal, a Grade 1, $750,000 the purse, 3 and up going carrying weight for age. They go 1.25 miles. And that's the story here. It's shorter than they've ever run the Gold Cup, but it is exactly the same distance over the same surface. They'll run for $3 million for here in the Classic October 27th. Well, now let's meet the field for the Jockey Club Gold Cup and our racing experts. We'll go to the paddock now to Dave Johnson and Charles C. Candy.
Well, Charles, I'm still a little confused. Is Izvestia the Russian equivalent of the daily racing form?
No, Dave, it's just a regular morning newspaper, but if it did carry race results, you'd see 8 straight stakes victories behind Izvestia's name and a whole lot of rubles. His nickname is Izzy Goer, and he is one tough 3-year-old.
There are 2 3-year-olds in the contest, Izvestia and also 36 Red. The 3-year-olds carry 121. The older horse is 126 today. But timing is everything. Who would have thought earlier this summer, when we were thinking about Sunday Silence and Easy Goer meeting in Chicago, and when Criminal Type was putting his string of Grade 1 victories together, that here we would be at the Gold Cup without them, and that we'd be talking about Izvestia for year-end honors.
With Housebuster out of the picture, it's conceivable that if Izvestia were to win today, he'd have a chance at the 3-year-old title, and maybe more, depending on what happens Breeders' Cup Day.
So let's take a look at who Izvestia has to beat this afternoon in his 1.25 mile march to the Eclipse Award. Here's the field. Flying Continental at the rail, Corey Black flying in from California for the ride, 4.5 to 1. The 7-year-old Steinlen is #2 with Jose Santos, 6 to 1. Second choice in the morning line, Lay Down, Chris Antley, 3 to 1. 36 Red with Mike Smith starts at 4.5. 5 is DeRoche with Cordero at 6, and there's the favorite, #6. Craig Perrette rides Izvestia, and 8-5 the price.
And he's a deserved favorite. He won the Canadian Triple Crown this year. He's the richest Canadian bred of all times. But he's got some things to prove. He's never run against older horses. And remember, that Triple Crown sweep was against horses who were bred in Canada. But he won every one of them easy. They never even asked him to run.
But the most interesting horse in the field, and the horse with the biggest question mark, is Steinlen. Now, there are some givens. He can carry the weight. He's the only horse who's been carrying big packages of weight of late. He can go the distance, but the question is whether he can run as fast on the dirt as he does on the turf. He's been on the dirt one time. That was in March of 1988, and he was dismal. But he was running as fast on the dirt and the turf back then in '88. He's a different animal now, but the questions persist about the turf, and a lot of folks think that he's in the wrong race, that he should be in the Turf Classic tomorrow. But Jeff Lucas likes his spot just fine, as he told us earlier.
If you look at what he's accomplished compared to the other horses in the race, if you disregard surface, he's the best horse in the race. He's carried the weight all year. He's a champion. He's made a ton of money. The key is, will he handle the dirt? If he handles the dirt, he can run with ease because we know he's a good horse.
But that's been the plan all along, to have Steinlen here in the Gold Cup. He would have been an entry with Criminal Type, but with the defection of Criminal Type, we have the most competitive six-pack of talent you're going to find in a starting gate.
They've all got something to be said for them. I've changed my allegiance 3 times. Frankly, any one of the 6 could win, and not surprised.
Chris?
All right, Dave, and the betting public is taking a look, and they're making some decisions. Right now, they don't believe Steinlen can go to the dirt. He's 11-1. Izvestia from Canada, they like him at 4-5. Welcome back to Belmont Park, New York. You know, one of the most popular thoroughbred racing stars of recent years here in the New York area is going to be the subject of our Claiborne Look Back as we take you back to the 1989 running of the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
This Claiborne Look Back is brought to you by Claiborne Farm, where for more than a century, a great record reflects our experience.
Ogden Phipps's champion Easy Goer made his final start before Breeders' Cup 6 in the 1.5-mile Jockey Club Gold Cup of 1989. The question was, could he duplicate his smashing Belmont Stakes triumph over the same track and distance?
They straighten away in the stretch. Day takes a look over his shoulder and he sees that Crypto Clearance is alongside. It looks like a 2-horse race for the Belmont stretch. On the inside, Easy Goer, Crypto Clearance on the outside, and down the stretch they come, and Easy Goer draws clear by 3. Crypto Clearance is second at 15 lengths to the other horses. Here's the finish of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, well in hand. Easy Goer by 3.5 lengths.
This was Easy Goer's final trip to the winner's circle last year, as he was second to Sunday Silence in the Breeders' Cup Classic. But Prize, a badly beaten 4th in the Gold Cup, pulled the major surprise with a narrow victory in the Breeders' Cup Turf in his first start on the grass. Well, Belmont Park, like all the New York Racing Association tracks, a member of the Thoroughbred Racing Associations, a group in the forefront of promoting thoroughbred racing. One of the great things they've done in recent years is form the Thoroughbred Racing Communications with the Jockey Club and Breeders' Cup. And with me now, the Executive Director, Tom Merritt. And Tom, I can tell you from a media standpoint, you guys have really helped us with the newsletter coming out 40 weeks a year.
Well, we try to really, get to the heart of the stories in racing. Our newsletter features stats and charts and standings, and of course, human interest stories, and of great importance is the National Thoroughbred Poll, which we publish every week.
And we have some information for the fans of how they can take part in this and receive the newsletter.
Well, the public can now receive the TRC news through our associate membership program. And if those fans out there sign up before the end of the year, we'd be glad to send them a free TRC T-shirt.
And that's better than the media gets too, Tom. Again, congratulations on the TRC newsletter. It's a great help to the media. I know it would be for the fans too.
Well, thanks a lot, Chris. And we're just trying to speak up for racing.
Tom Merritt with Thoroughbred Racing Communications. Well, now let's take a look for a Budweiser long shot for our Jockey Club Gold Cup. We told you the short price favorite is Izvestia. Now let's find a horse at a bargain price, the Bud long shot.
To get a swift and smooth trip for our Budweiser long shot, we've selected a Flying Continental. This 1986 model was running like a top last spring, showing steady acceleration and the ability to travel long distances. Now, some wear and tear on the parts caused trainer Jay Robbins to park Flying Continental for most of the summer. He returned to the runway in August at Del Mar and now flies east, all tuned up and ready for the open road. So today, look for Flying Continental to grab another gear in the passing lane as our Budweiser long shot.
And there he is, number 1, Flying Continental. He opened at 9-2, and on the board right now, the Budweiser long shot. The one horse is at 5-1. When we come back, the thoroughbreds for the Jockey Club Gold Cup are approaching the starting gate. We'll load them up and run the 72nd edition of the Gold Cup. Stay with us. Biggest racing oval. You see the starting gate for a 1.25 mile race in this 1.5 mile track is set going into the first turn. That's where it'll be on Breeders' Cup Day for the $3 million Classic. Here are the odds now for the Gold Cup. Flying Continental, the Bud Long shot at 5. Steinlen, look at this, 13-1 for the turf champion. Lay down at 5. 36 red, 5 to Roche at 7, and Izvestia the favorite at 4-5. Some comments out from Dave in Chelsea, and Dave, unbelievable. Now 13-1 Steinlen. Is that what you call the classic overlay?
That is the classic overlay. By the way, Jose Santos has had 3 winners on the card. He's going for his 4th. I thought this horse would go off about 4-1.
Well, I guess people just don't feel that he can make the conversion to the dirt, but the New York bettors are usually pretty sharp about that.
Charles, see, the 4 horse, 36 red, has the ability to grab the lead and hold it the whole 1.25 miles. This horse is better now than he's ever been this year.
Well, he's not going to have that easy a time on the lead. I think we'll probably see Steinlen and we'll probably see Izvestia. He'll probably get a little pressure. A horse who's got a little tactical speed, who can lay in just behind him, is named Laydown, and he's on a little bit of a winning streak of his own, a stake streak. He won the Excelsior, the Forgo, the Washington Park Handicap, and these old geldings do good in this race, Chris.
36 red. You see that the 4 horse broken out a little bit as he approaches the gate. There is laid down the Phipps stable, Ogden Mills Phipps. Let's take a look at the records now. There's no stakes record. The first time it's ever been run at 1.25 miles. But the track record here, Ali Sheba, 159-2 in 1988. The man who called the Gold Cup horse. Let's go now to the top of the stands, and Tom Durkin, the voice of the Breeders' Cup.
Waiting for DeRoche and Izvestia. Might want to look at Flying Continental. He's had a history in his races of ducking out at the start, particularly crucial here as they are starting from well off the rail. They're in the gate. All standing in good line for this 1990 renewal of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, and they're off. And on the inside, Flying Continental comes out for the lead, and Steinlen is right there with him early. 36 red is away 3rd. Laydown is up close early, tucked in behind the leaders and saving ground. Izvestia has come out 5th, and DeRoche is the early trailer. They make the bend into the backstretch. Steinlen leads, but here comes 36 red with his speed on the outside. Corey Black takes a hold of Flying Continental. He's now gathered back in a bit tight toward the rail, and Izvestia with clear running on the outside is moving toward the lead now. Laid down, Chris Antley is patient with him, and DeRoche is under a hard hold at the back of the pack. The first quarter went in 24 seconds flat. They continue down the backstretch. And Mike Smith shows the way with 36 red, and there goes Izvestia, headstrong on the outside, and he wants the lead and grabs it. It's Izvestia with a short lead on the inside. 36 red right there. Steinlen holds the rail, and those 3 across the track. 47 3 half mile. Laydown tracks the leaders on the outside 4th. Flying Continental is now 5th toward the inside. Cordero still patient with DeRoche, but now he's getting underway, and now the field rounds the far turn. Izvestia, the Canadian gray, leads the way, but on the outside, DeRoche charges hard, and DeRoche on the outside to engage Izvestia, and those 2 now are locked in a speed duel as they come toward the top of the stretch. Laydown is 3rd, Flying Continental is kicking in now, and 36 red is faded to 5th, and the field at the quarter pole as they turn for home. DeRoche on the outside, Izvestia toward the rail, neither giving way. Flying Continental runs at him from the outside. They're coming to the final furlong. Cordero's all over DeRoche on the outside. Here comes Flying Continental. Izvestia is getting toward the rail, but he's given away the 3rd. 100 yards out. Flying Continental surges to take the lead, and it is Flying Continental, and a tactical masterpiece by Corey Black. DeRoche was 2nd, Izvestia was 3rd. Oh, he was just out with the pace. He wisely took back and made a dramatic charge through the stretch. Corey Black and Flying Continental win the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
In 2 minutes and 3/5 seconds, give Flying Continental a Budweiser, folks. That's the Budweiser long shot. Hitting at 5-1 today, and our hats off to Jack Kent Cooke, the owner who always is known to take a gamble, owner of the Washington Redskins, very much involved in professional sports. He could have played it safe, kept Flying Continental in California, but he told Jay Robbins, the trainer, let's ship him to New York and test him against the best there with the Jockey Club Gold Cup over the Breeders' Cup surface at 1.25 miles, the Breeders' Cup Classic distance, and he showed he could do it. Let's take a look now at Flying Continental and just how he did it in this one. As he comes inside here, and outside you see Flying Continental. To the inside, the battle is Izvestia, the Canadian Triple Crown winner, trying to hold off to Roche, but that's not the problem here. As you see Flying Continental flying on the outside, he has Izvestia put away, and now in his passing lane and in passing gear, he kicks by DeRoche and heads to the wire as the Budweiser long shot in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. The photo sign is on the board, but it looked to us like Flying Continental is the winner of this 72nd edition of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, and here he comes back to the winner's circle. You're taking a look at racing's newest millionaire. Flying Continental has joined that exclusive club. He came into this race with earnings of more than $983,000. Is winning the Gold Cup, unofficial still, better than $500,000. As Corey Black comes off, that is the first win for him in the Gold Cup. First for Jay Robbins, and first for owner Jack Kent Cooke. DeRoche was second. The Canadian Triple Crown winner Izvestia has his 8-stake record win streak broken, and Steinlen runs dead last, the turf champion. Let's go to Dave Johnson for a closer look at the Gold Cup.
Near the half-mile pole, you see the entire field. There's Izvestia, the great colt, leading the pack. DeRoche, who you will see make a tremendous charge on the outside, and the eventual winner is sixth and last. That's Flying Continental at the back of the pack. Now let's watch the action, and watch DeRoche. Cordero, wearing the yellow cap, speeds from fifth to first in about a 16th of a mile. Corey Black then begins to make his way to the front, but on the front end, it's Izvestia toward the inside and DeRoche on the outside. And here comes Corey Black. He is now fourth in the blue and white cap and moving up to contention on the outside. Laid down his third at this point, wearing the Phipps colors. So as they turn for home, Cordero looks around. He's on DeRoche. On the inside, Izvestia is dropping back, and here comes the eventual winner, a son of Flying Paster. I remember when he and when Flying Paster and Spectacular Bid had great duels and challenges out on the West Coast. And here is his son, Flying Continental, charging up to challenge DeRoche. And in the final strides, it is Flying Continental winning the Jockey Club Gold Cup by a head over DeRoche with Izvestia third. Chris?
So the California bred, the only California bred that Jack Kent Cooke owns, comes to New York and wins one of New York's biggest prizes, the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup. And quite a feat for trainer Jay Robbins, the winner of the Strub, looking awfully good today here in New York. Here's a look now at the official results and prices. Flying Continental in 2 minutes and 3/5 seconds at 12:20, 6 and 360. DeRoche was second. Izvestia, again, the Canadian Triple Crown winner, was third. Now to Charles C. Candy.
Well, flying Transcontinental to come in here and steal all the money was Jay Robbins, and what a good job you did getting Flying Continental back to the races after he was hurt this spring at Santa Anita.
Thank you, Charles. We were very fortunate. He came out of the Santa Anita Handicap pretty uncomfortable, and we sent him up to Bradbury to Oak Tree Farm. And after a week up there, he was running around very good in his pasture, and we gave him an additional 6 weeks, and he trained well ever since, and knock on wood, he stayed sound so far.
And you had him just right today. He was actually at one point last in the field. We're going to pick it up on the turn there, and he was pretty far back, and then makes a big move here.
Yeah, Corey let him slip back a little bit because he really disdains the inside of horses, and he thought if he were able to get him to the outside, he'd finish much better.
And then as they swing around through the stretch, and he makes a big move, and he's got DeRoche in clear view here. Did you think you were going to get him?
From my box, yeah, I thought he had a pretty good shot of getting him.
You saw him do this in the Strub, right?
Yeah, we did.
Jay, what next? What about the Breeders' Cup?
If he comes out of this in good shape, he'll probably stay here for the Classic.
All right, good. Glad to see you here. Congratulations to Jack Kent Cooke. The Redskins were out. It gave him something to do today, Chris.
I'm sure Mr. Cooke is celebrating with his only California bred. Here's the official order of finish. Now all the way down, Flying Continental first, Roche second, Izvestia finishing third. Roche gave it a lot of courage. We saw him second in the Oakland Handicap in the spring. Lay down fourth from the fifth stable, 36 Red, who set some of the early fractions, fading to fifth. And the turf champion Steinlen, which shows the folks here are pretty good handicappers. Sent him off at 11-1. They said keep him on the grass, D. Wayne, and he may have learned that lesson today. I'm sure if you're thinking about him, he'll probably be coming back for Breeders' Cup turf, not the classic, you think. As you see, Corey Black, a young rider who's made quite a name for himself in California, winning a Grade 1 event, the Strub, of course, early on, and now, of course, coming to New York and winning a big Grade 1, too. Well, a lot of great racing action we'll tell you this weekend in New York. We're going to show you all of it tomorrow in our live show from 3 to 4. Let's give you an update on some of the results, though, of the big 2-year-old races. The Champagne for the Colts, Fly So Free, winning that in 1:35.3, and in the Frisette, it was the incredible Meadow Star just winning easily by some 15 lengths. We'll recap that all for you tomorrow on the show. Dave and Charles, some final thoughts on the Gold Cup.
Well, even though there's a lot of trouble with the budget in Washington, it's still the Big Apple. The Statue of Liberty may be closed, but Belmont's open tomorrow and we'll be here.
And just remember, it's only 3 weeks to the Breeders' Cup, but as you saw today, lots can happen between now and then.
And tomorrow we invite you to join us live here, 3 to 4, the Turf Classic. We kept a big weekend of racing here in New York. And college football, doubleheader action coming up here on ESPN this evening. It's the Tigers and the Gators in Florida. Washington State will visit the Trojans at USC. Coming up later here on ESPN. The Jockey Club Gold Cup from Belmont Park, New York has been brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By DeBartolo Racing, leading the way to the 21st century. And by Three Chimneys. The idea is excellence. Accommodations for ESPN provided by the JFK Hilton, the airport hotel of the 90s. Hilton, it's all in the name. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 700 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4-CARS. Travel consideration furnished by Delta Airlines. Everyday Delta and the Delta Connection offers you more than 4,000 flights to more than 250 cities worldwide. At Delta, we love to fly and it shows. At the Jockey Club Gold Cup, the Bud Longshot Flying Continental wins. See you back here tomorrow at 3 for the Turf Classic.